Boys and girls, this is our first lesson in CKLA for first grade. On your Google Classroom, we have the story Grans Trips, and hopefully you have read it, but I'm going to read it again with you. Grans Trips. When will Gran get here? Josh asks. Jen shrugs. Just then, Josh and Jen see a cab on the street. Gran is here, Jen yells. When Gran steps from the cab, Josh and Jen run up to get a hug. Was the trip fun? Josh asks. Which one? Gran asks. I went on 3 trips. Where to? Asked Josh. One was to the Swiss Alps, says Gran. In the Alps, there were steep cliffs. I went up to the top of one cliff, but it was slick. I fell and had to cling to the rocks. And here is a picture of her clinging to the rocks. No, says Jen. Yes, says Gran. Here is a snapshot. What was the next trip? Josh asks. I went to Hong Kong, says Gran. What is in Hong Kong? Lots of stuff, says Gran. In Hong Kong, I met a man who sings and has wings on his back. No, says Josh. Yes, said Gran. Here is a snapshot. What was the last trip? Asked Jen. I went to the Gulf to swim with the eels and feed the fish, says Gran. No, says Jen. Yes, says Gran. Here is a snapshot. Which trip was the best? Josh asks. This one, Gran says. The one where I get to see Josh and Jen. That was a cute story. You also have the questions to go along with it. And if you're not sure of what the answers are, remember to go back in the story and find your answer. Question 1 says, where did Gran meet a man with wings on his back? Question 2 says, what did Gran do at the Gulf? Question 3 says, which trip was Gran's best trip? And 4, Gran gets to Josh and Jen. And you have 3 answers to choose from. Remember, you can only bubble in one answer: on a shop, in a cab, in a truck. Now let's go back to the story. If you notice, in the story, we have all of the words that have EE in them are highlighted, which means they're darker than the other words. So we have see, street, 3, steep, eels, and feed. So you can write those down. We have a worksheet that goes along with it. And you're going to take your time and write EE, B, seen, feet. And then you can turn it over and write the other words that have EE in them also. Another activity is, and also kids, I'm saying turn it over, but if you can't do this, you have to get your own sheet. And this is real easy to write BEE. And then space BEE in the middle, and then put BEE on the end. So you're going to write each word 3 times. And then you can turn that worksheet over and write the other words that have EE in the story. And then also for this sheet, what you might do if you can't write it on, is to number them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so you can write number 1 and look at the picture. And of course, we know this is deer. So we're going to write the word deer. Now, under the word deer, we're going to make up a sentence. Something that's pretty easy that you can spell. I see a deer. Because we want to remember how to write a sentence. And we want to remember that sentences start with a capital letter and with a period. Remember to put spaces in between the words. And if you need help, get somebody in the house to help, a big sister, brother, a grandmother, an aunt, an uncle, someone who can help you. So then for number 2, we're going to look at the picture. And it is a picture of teeth. So we're going to write T-E-E-T-H. And then we're going to think of a sentence that we can use teeth in. So we might say, look at my teeth. Now, I forgot to say, whenever we use a word in a sentence, we always underline it. So let's go back and underline dear. And for the second sentence, let's underline teeth. Now we have 6 words. So your activity with this is to write all 6 words and then use them in sentences.